money.
Tina Mitchell here with your Money Chat. What a wild few days in the market. Wednesday was the Fed press conference. The Fed came out with their prepared statement, and it was kind of dovish. They didn't seem to like where they were going too much on rate hikes. They didn't even mention the runoff in the balance sheet. Then, in a separate statement, they came out with this balance sheet reduction. The markets were crazy during the press conference. Now, the equity markets went from the peak to the trough. We saw over 900 point swing in the Dow, and the bond market dropped over 60 basis points. The press conference with Powell was certainly more of a hawkish tone. When he was asked questions if there was a 50 basis points, almost a double rate hike on the table, he said it was certainly a possibility. And Powell really tried to state how strong he felt that the economy was, and that it was much stronger than it was last time that they did the tightening in 2018. Powell said that the main concern is the rising in inflation. Outside of inflation, it seemed like that we were on a full stream ahead and then they would definitely be hiking rates. Now, there is a 100% chance of the rate hike in March, and is now factored into the expectations are 125 basis points in hikes in 2022. If they were a quarter basis point hike, that would be 5 hikes. But of course, they could decide to make some double hikes and increase that up to 50 basis points. Now, the bond market really didn't like when the Fed came out and said that they were going to reduce the balance sheet after they had a lift off of beginning the hiking. They were not clear on if they were going to do this at the same time like they did in 2018, where they hiked rates and reduced the balance sheet, or if they're going to pause there. It's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out. Now, this may sound a little counterintuitive, but the bond market will respond positively with rate hikes because it curbs inflation. But the bond market will respond negatively to balance sheet runoff. The rate hike impacts prime rate, not mortgage rates. And the mortgage rates are directly tied to how the Fannie Mae 30-year bond is trading. So the Fannie Mae 30-year bond will do well when inflation is in line, and the exact opposite when it's not. Now, the prime rate is your short-term loans like credit cards, car loans, home equity line of credit. Fed rate hikes and the balance sheet runoff are 2 levers that the Fed has, and will decide how they're actually going to be managing those and how that's going to impact all of the markets. Now, I'm going to be a little bit of a soapbox here, because something that really bothers me about the Fed worried about the balance sheet runoff. Why are they not stopping the outright purchases of mortgage-backed securities? It's kind of like me saying that I want to go on a diet. I have to lose weight. But then this week I decide I'm going to have ice cream, milkshakes, cake, cookies, candy, everything else that I can think of. And then I'll diet next week. It's pretty stupid. And another thing that bothered me that Powell said, we have good recovery and the economy is doing well, but some of the side effect of that is inflation. Excuse me for saying, but it's BS. Because the inflation, and also what he stated is it's like a high class problem. It's not a high class problem. It's a middle class problem. When you have inflation, it's an underserved problem when you have inflation, because it creates misery when costs go up for things that you need to buy faster than wages go up. That is the furthest thing from a high class problem. So that's my recap of the Fed's meeting and the press conference and your Money Chat.